Everybody has an agenda?
Yes.
Call to order. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is October 19th, 2022. It's exactly 6:51. This meeting is now called to order. We are going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If everybody can please stand up.
Yes.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. You guys may be seated. And now the secretary will be doing roll call.
Okay. You have to mark down who's here, who's not.
I have a notepad. I can do it. Okay. Let's see.
You're good.
Okay. Itzel Rojo.
Absent.
Bye.
She did bye.
Kate
Hi.
De La O.
Here.
Triana Ramirez. Alexandra Moreno.
Here.
Natalia Moreno.
Here.
Emma Sanchez.
Here.
Yaniel Valentin.
He's not absent.
Michael Leja.
Present.
Leja.
Yourself.
Me. Mia Castillo.
Here.
Andrea Cardova. Ashley Flores. Ariel. Ashley Flores.
Ashley Flores.
John Roman.
Here.
Ashley Cardona.
Here.
David Perez. Genesis Pritz.
Here.
Haley Gonzalez.
Not here. Do we have at least 9 members?
Let me count. I think so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13.
So we have a quorum. Yes. Okay. You can continue.
All right. I'm assuming there's no public comments. Moving on with our next item, discussion with possible action on presentations regarding the internships that we did this summer and any other matters.
So I'm gonna go off by whoever has already kind of sent it to me. I don't know who wants to start. Or it can be a quick overview of what you did, and I'll start pulling them up here.
Did you get everybody?
I didn't get everyone's, but
I think we're first.
yeah.
Jada, you ready?
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Who said they would go first?
Next time. We did have a few absent, so we usually never have that many items on the agenda, so we will probably the next meeting have you guys some of the day have ready.
I'm gonna move this over here so you all can.
So now
So the reason I wanted to have you all present is I wanted you all to kind of hear, if you didn't get to go to the department, to hear, because you all are supposed to bring up ideas, have us look into things and to kind of give you a bigger scope of what you didn't go to, what you missed, so that at the next meeting that we have, if something sparks, or you can motion to have this added to your next agenda, or motion for us to do something based off of whatever you all talk about today, or that you noticed during your time.
Okay. I guess it's your call. So the first place I went to was the Human Resources Department, also known as HR. I went with Ashley, but she's not here today. Jada.
Okay, I'm gonna give you the intro. Human resources is comprised of numerous areas such as health benefits, payroll, retirement, recruitment, risk management, employee relations, training and development, among others. The common denominator or main component of human resources in all of these areas is servicing employees' needs from the beginning, mid, and end of their professional careers throughout the organization. Human resources is the core component in any organization, as it ensures employees are provided with all the necessary resources that will compel employees to stay and be proud to work in the entity they choose as their employer.
So yeah, basically they are the entire process. They're there from the beginning to the end as you become a city employee. She basically went over the first little section. They do recruiting and hiring for these open positions in the government, well, the city level. So what I understood was that they get obviously X amount of applicants, and then from there they choose like the top 5 or the top 3, and then out of those they send it to the department so the department can make the final choice. And they're located at City Hall and the Annex. At the Annex, I learned that they have a 24-hour, I don't know if it's 24-hour, but I do know that you can do a walk-in. It's a medical clinic, yes. So any city employee can just walk in, and their dependents as well, as long as they have them registered. And they have a spa room, which is always booked. Makes sense.
Do they really have that?
They do.
It's a meditation room.
It's a meditation.
Really?
They get massage. It's like a fancy massage chair. But they're like, that one's the only thing that's like not walk-in. It's always booked, so you do have to make an appointment for that one. Yeah. That pretty much sums up.
And you can go in during your work time, and it doesn't count as like, you don't have to sign out. It counts as like on the job hours, so you still like will get paid for the time you spent at the clinic at Human Resources.
I didn't know that.
And I'm pretty sure their unofficial slogan is that they are the whole process. Like everyone that I talk to in HR, that's literally what they said. They're like, we're the entire process. We're with you from the beginning to the end. So I was like, nice.
So did you all realize that an HR person could actually do like all of those things?
No, I didn't.
Like we had the realization, yes.
Oh yeah.
But did you know that going?
Oh no, not at all.
No.
I didn't know there were like.
I didn't really know what it was,
department.
so she gave me like a.
So what did you think it was like?
I mean, I do know that they help city employees. I just didn't know like up to what aspect, or that it was literally the entire process, like in every possible way. Because then they also had like she had these ginormous binders, and it was like every single like regulation that the employees had to follow, and like protocols and everything. It was pretty interesting. I got to go to the Public Information Office. And okay, the reason I put the lightning bolts is because they have so much to do in such a short period of time. So you know how, I mean, for us at least, like on Friday it's more liberating, like throughout the week. It's, you know, rigorous Monday, liberating Friday, weekend's about to hit. Okay, theirs is the complete opposite because all their deadlines are due on Friday. So their Monday is our Friday. They're located at City Hall, and they're responsible for the social media, basically, all social media outlets. And they are working on these weekly roundups that they have on YouTube, so that, you know, you don't have to watch like a 4-hour video to find out what's happening in your city. They do sum it up. I thought that was pretty interesting. I didn't know that, so. But yeah, they are experimenting with social media, trying to find what is the most effective way to relay information without it being like, you know, no one's gonna want to read an essay on a post, like, yeah. So, any questions? No? Then I had economic development. That one's also located at City Hall. So economic development refers to the improvement of all these areas as a whole. So it's not literally just financial development. It is health, education, environment, amenities, information technology, and transportation improvement to the city. So Mr. what's his name? I know him as Arnold. I'm trying to get his last name, Mr.
Lozano?
Lozano, yes. He was very, what's the word? Passionate about what he does. And he made it very clear that it is more than just like the trucks that come in. And, you know, he's in charge of businesses that come in that would help the city and making deals. And, yeah. Are you want to come do this one with me?
Yeah.
Because I went with Michael too.
I know that one as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so like what Kate was saying, like he was very passionate about it, and when we were discussing with him, he was like all the businesses, like ideas and all that stuff to help, you know, our city along with, you know, that little business as well. So yeah.
Yeah. There's an inside joke that it's not just ice cream. 'Cause he showed us a video about, I guess, the breakdown of what economic development is. But the video was like, it simplified everything. So use an ice cream shop as an example, and then at the end he goes, I guess the narrator goes, oh, so now you know what economic development is. And he's explaining it to this little kid in the video, and the kid goes, oh yeah, it's ice cream. And we're just like, okay.
Yeah.
So it's ice cream, guys. Okay, do you want to do this with me too?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Chris.
So
You want the city attorneys, ma'am?
Huh?
she-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
This
with
is
her
the
to the city attorneys.
So city attorney deals with legal matters involving the city. More specifically, they draft resolutions, ordinances, contracts, agreements, deeds, and other legal documents. And we did go to the Laredo Municipal Court for, what are those called? What's that called?
Like when they have violations or like tickets or something they got, they go over there, they say they plead guilty, they plead non,
But they can be guilty or non-guilty, and then
or it's something that's in the middle. That's like
No
non-con-
contest.
No
No
contest.
contest.
No contest. There we go. Yeah. No contest. And basically, they put us in the room, and we were there seeing what they do, seeing how like everything works. Who like someone's there, like someone's on the site. It's a woman. What's her name?
I didn't get her name. Or like, I
Yeah.
don't remember her name.
She would. What would she do?
But she was a translator because
Yeah.
obviously, since we live in a border city, a lot of people spoke Spanish, and the judge was Judge Show, I believe. Well, apparently he's learning Spanish. He's getting there. So she was just the mediator. She would translate. Yeah. So we got to see two different types. We got to see animal-based ordinances that were not obeyed, and construction. So apparently, you can't own roosters within city
Wow.
limits.
Really?
Chickens and roosters
I know
within city
so many
limits.
Yeah, you can't
I didn't know
so many people violating that one.
Yes, I was just like, okay. Like this older gentleman showed up, and he was like, I've had it for like 30 years. I've been
Yeah,
doing this.
20
He was
he's
like,
like 20
he was like, I never knew. She was like, oh, okay. So
So how did he end up in municipal court?
His chicken got
someone
out.
wrote him up. Yeah.
Yes, his rooster got out of his house, and it was on the side of the road, and someone reported it.
He
Oh.
got it, and he was like, he's like, I didn't
No.
know. And we were like, oh.
He was such a, like he seemed like such a sweet, like genuine person.
Yeah, you
bad.
could tell. Like he was like,
Oh,
I had
that's-
no idea.
Yeah, he had it for like a lot. Like he said he had it for years, and he had to give it up.
Yeah, they're like, he's like, well, did you at
Aw.
least remove it from the premises? And he's like, yeah,
Oh,
we sent it
yeah.
out to a ranch, so
Yeah.
they dropped the matter. But I was like, I did not know that. There's so many ordinances that are, you know, not very prominent. I guess we don't know about them really. Because then there's mishaps apparently too. This lady showed up and her dog was killed, but then she got the blame
Her cat.
for it. Or her cat was killed
Her cat.
by a dog.
Her cat was in the yard. I'm not sure.
It was on her yard,
It was on
actually.
her yard.
And the dog came, two dogs came and killed her cat, and then the cops were called on her. And she
And
was
they
just like,
her the ticket. Like they
they gave her the
ticket,
ticket, and
and
she was like, they're not even my dogs. Like, what do I do?
and they. Actually, it wasn't her fault, basically, and I think the judge realized that it wasn't her fault.
Yeah, she's like submitted proof that she doesn't even own that dog. She owns a cat, like the paperwork for the cat. And,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they were like, oh, but it's on your yard. I'm like, no, but like, it was a neighbor taking care of
The neighbor was taking care of her cat, so she came home and then her cat's dead. So.
No.
I know.
And she
She came
flew
from
really
Las Vegas
sentimental.
too, so she was in a good mood, and then it just.
Oh.
I know. I was like,
Aw.
that's so sad.
Yeah, we saw like mishaps that happened, and there was, and then there was just one thing I didn't know. It's between the lawyer, what happens between the lawyer and the client. What was it called? The client
Privilege?
Yeah.
Attorney-client privilege?
Yeah, where like anything that happens, even if even if your client complains that they murdered someone, you can't say anything. You have to keep on defending them. I did not know that. I thought like, oh, you murdered someone. I'm not gonna defend you, but they defend you in either way. They have to.
And where did you learn that?
The lawyer. What was his name? Oh my god.
City attorney, Mr. I'm not really good with names. I'm sorry. Like, you have to write it on my phone.
Yeah, like he told us that would happen. And I did not know that. I did not know that. I was like, oh, they probably defend them because they believe their client. They believe they didn't do it, but no, why not?
And then lastly, I got to go to community development with Michael also.
Yeah. Let me do this.
You want to do this one? Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, since this one I was actually enjoyed because the community development, because I like giving like, you know, fun stuff for the community and like helping it out, either housing or like, you know, new places, like, you know, like stuff from out of town, like what we got with like main event coming over here, and that's been really big. I'm actually been there a couple times, enjoyed it so much, and like I'm hoping that we get like more stuff so we can like, you know, city get money, and also like, you know, we get more tourists over here. Like, hey, Laredo's not that bad. Like, it's not like just a small border town and all that.
Okay, so they're located on Ferris Street. To be more specific, you know where the Burger King is? Okay, they're right above that apparently. I did
Right
not know
above the
that.
Burger
King?
Right above the Burger King. I was like, that's so
Yeah,
absurd. Yeah, like you just
Where the
go-
metro is.
So wait, they have to go into Burger King to get up there, or like?
No, like there's a Burger King at the bottom and there's like stairs, but like I
That's
just
what it
wouldn't
looks
expect Burger King to be under a government like
Yeah.
a government official like department. So they deal with down payment assistance, housing rehab, municipal housing, homeless assistance, real estate, code enforcement, and nonprofit management. So like the Volunteer Center of Laredo. For the code enforcement, they go out every single day, and there's like I believe 9 of them, 9 employees that go out and in their little region mapped part of Laredo, and they have to go around enforcing codes. So like if your grass is above a certain height, they get to write you up. If you have junk, if your area is messy, they write you up. And I was like, wow, they're out in the sun. Sorry, it's very hot. Housing, homeless assistance is what surprised me. They actually have so many programs, and they have a very elaborate project for homeless people that they can undergo to, you know, get out of their situation.
Help them out a bit.
Yeah, it was very detailed. It was very it is possible to get out. Well, real estate, if you make X amount, I think that also goes with like the housing
assistance.
Yeah, housing assistance. If you make X amount and you are, you know, there's X members in your family, they can help you out with housing and stuff. Okay.
It's the
baggage.
baggage.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay. I mean, that kind of pretty much sums it up.
Yeah.
Oh, and they are behind the scenes for every city project. So, like, you know, if you want to build, if they're building a park or something, they would have to ask, and they would have to ask for the land, make sure that it meets protocol, and if it belongs to anyone. So apparently, we have lands here in Laredo that still belong to some indigenous tribes, and they have to ask for them.
Yeah.
And what I found it interesting was that they said that they would send the email, right, like requesting that the city of Laredo uses the land, and if they don't respond, they're like, they take that as a yes, and I was like, okay. And it's just like some people do respond, that they had like 1 or 2 that usually do send an email back saying yes, go for it, use the land.
Yeah.
But that surprised me. I didn't know that
Me neither,
that there was still indigenous like land, especially here in our area.
Wait, so they just take it, like even if they don't respond, they just like.
Well, it's because they don't respond. They take it as a yes. I mean, if they send back like a no, okay, then they would make a deal, or I don't know how that goes further. But yeah, and then because it does belong to indigenous tribes, and there's like history on the land, they have to do, what was it called? That landscaping where they search for historical artifacts.
Yeah.
So they have to dig a hole X big, X deep, and if they find any fossils or anything that is significant, then they can't do anything. Then they have to survey the entire land, because then it's a historical site at the end.
To make sure they're allowed to build and not like disrespecting like, you know, history and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's my last one. Yeah, it is.
Thank you guys. Next.
Oh, did you allow some papers?
Oh, maybe that's good. Maybe we'll get like.
Ashley, did you want to come up with the
Oh,
it's the
Do you
last
feel
slide.
like
Okay,
reading
perfect.
that?
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's
hi
fine.
everyone. So basically, these past 3 internships that I did human resources also. I did the airport, which was my favorite one, and I also did the engineering department. Previously, in the past year, I had done also city attorney with the health department as well as Parks and Recreation Center with Mr. Gomez. So I didn't include those here, but I did those as well. So my favorite one was the airport, as y'all saw, a condensed version of our tour. I got to actually visit, it was a 6-hour tour. I got to visit the police station here, the fire department, which we went to, and I got a tour of the actual inside of the building. And I got to go to TSA, and where all of the baggage goes as well. So I got to see behind those big boxy computers where they like scan all of your stuff in suitcases. So that was really cool. Here are the pictures, right? That's me in the middle of the tower, and this is of course the fire trucks that y'all saw out there. In the airport, I learned that the employees here don't get flights for free, which was very disappointing. I also learned how many departments there are within the airport and how those departments solely belong to the airport. So it's like a city within a city, but the city helps us get out of the city. So it's really, really funny like that. For the fire department, of course, you guys saw, I learned how their shifts worked. I learned that they are very well paid also. That's really good. So if you're fit and you want to go into fire department, the fire department at the airport is really good. You work, let's say, for example, from 8 to 8, so a 24-hour shift, from 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. the next day, and then you get a day off. And then again, you do the same thing, and then you get a day off. And there are 9 firefighters in total. So I also then learned some of the codes. I completely forgot them because this was back in July, but some of the codes from the tower to see the planes and see, where they are and all the buttons and how to communicate with them in the air and of course landing. And of course, you guys met Andrew and Victoria. So Victoria, I learned that we have noise control. So basically, if you live within like a certain radius of the airport, you are able to get certain like noise-proof windows and like some reconstruction in your like home for free. You're paid by the city so that it can be more comfortable living. She has a very hard job. People aren't very nice, so they'll call her and complain. And sometimes even if you do get some noise, but you live outside the perimeter, then nothing can be done about it. So a lot of people get angry at that. I met some really good people like Andrew Manuel, who wasn't here. He basically, I don't really remember his job, but they took me out to sushi, so that was great. And then Andrew, he was in the Air Force. And so what I learned a lot is that the airport is actually a great place. If you think about going to the military, and then you need a job once you get out of it, coming to the airport is a great job. Usually a lot of people that retire from the military, they will go into like police or any law enforcement. But coming to the airport and getting jobs like this, especially if you're in the Air Force, is really, really good and has really well pay. So that was my favorite one. Oh. And then I did engineering. So I basically learned the hierarchy of how things have to go down. So basically, city council will propose something to be built or something like that, and then it'll go down to the planning, and then it'll go down to the engineering. So I was talking to this engineer, and I completely forgot his name because I'm not good with names. But he was basically saying, I have all these ideas, but in order to execute them, city council member would have to propose them, planning would have to approve them, and then we can go ahead and put forth. So at the time of when I did this internship, they were currently just working on on remodeling or refixing a parking lot at one of the WIC offices, I think the main WIC office. So that's what they were doing. I also got to sit in a meeting with Mr. Chavez, who is the head engineer. And I basically saw how they hire people to construct. So I thought that was really cool. So basically, the hiring process of these construction companies. And then Ashley, you wanna come up? So we did HR together as well. I put the pictures of sushi because these departments treat us very well. Do you want to go ahead?
Okay, so we interned with Miss Ortiz. She is the project manager, and she's a project manager. And so we basically we kind of saw into this Zoom she was doing with, it's a company from like Florida, because they want to like upgrade the payroll for the city of Laredo employees. Mm-hmm. And so she's very good with like education, because she was also Yeah,
Principal.
like a principal in Dallas and then also Hawaii. So she has a lot of education around that. And yeah, so there's 3 departments in HR. She's in charge of the first or third one?
We went to the first department. Yeah.
That's the first one, and then the second one deals with kind of the police department and the fire station. And so we actually like stayed there for a remainder of the internship, where we what's it called?
We were preparing.
Yeah, we were preparing the fire
The
department.
tests, yes.
Yeah, the test for the fire department. So it was like the written portion, and
We weren't writing out the tests. We were just like stapling
Like
them, putting them
stapling.
together. Yeah, we were just stapling, putting them together. It was a little bit before they were gonna test like the people that applied to PD,
Yeah.
to the Laredo Police Department. So basically, we saw that they're all in charge of that. We met the different people that are in charge of different departments. So in human resources, they have one person in charge of solely the health department, and then they have people in charge for the rest. So we also learned that they are with you from when you are hired all the way to when you choose to retire, or if you get fired, I'm assuming. And we also learned about the great benefits that the city of Laredo has to provide to their employees. We also went to City Hall Annex for a little tour. We got to meet the people, the 2 men that were in charge of
Risk management.
the risk management. Yeah, when they're in charge of, when there's a car crash. So it's crazy that we only have 2 people,
only two,
people
yeah.
in charge of every like crash in Laredo. So they go ahead and check that out. And then we learned about how they get to retire, what they have to do. And in City Hall Annex, we also learned that they have their own little private clinic for the city employees. And we learned about the spa room, which is really cool. Unfortunately, we don't get those benefits as youth council, but it's really great program. We met different people also who just talked about their experience working for the city. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
Did you send it?
So these are your vacations for it. No.
Got one more.
Where did you send it? Friday? Maybe it's this one.
Okay, yeah, it's happening. Oh, could you go back? And paste the link?
Oh.
Okay, so this is my internship experience. I did 3, and my first one was the CVB on July 19th. So basically, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, it creates promotional and marketing programs to increase hotel and lodging occupancy in Laredo and demand for local tourism services. So you may ask how they do this. First, you have to visit the Laredo website, and it basically gives you kind of access to the trip accommodations, the attractions Laredo has, and their main slogan is to support local, because as you know, there is a lot of local businesses here in Laredo. And at the CVB, they also have a gift shop where you could buy stuff with the Visit Laredo slogan on it. And then they also have social media like Facebook and Instagram where you could see what Laredo events are happening. So what I learned, there is a difference in marketing here in Laredo, like for Mexico and the US marketing. So basically in the US, they market Laredo as kind of like a tourist attraction, whereas in Mexico, it's like a shopping destination. So you come here to shop at the outlets or the mall. And then what I didn't know was that there is a lot of sporting events hosted here. And so they're actually building a sporting complex around here.
Yeah. A sports complex.
Yeah. To host more events and bring more attraction here, which will also bring hotels along with that. There is also a lot of attraction and travel down here for the Laredo Burrito Festival. Oh, sorry, looking up. Okay. Yeah, so the Laredo Birding Festival is really popular, and a lot of tourists come down here to view the birds because there is a lot of birds that
Did they tell you about the one bird? There's like one bird in Laredo that is only found here that people come just to take a photo of.
Oh, my teacher, he's a history teacher, and he says he goes to bird watching, and that he said that here in Laredo, there's a lot of birds, unique birds here, and a lot of people come here. Yeah, that there's a lot of unique birds, and he goes bird watching, has photos of it and everything. He said that there's a lot of unique birds here, and specifically in Laredo, that you might not think it, but there is.
Yeah. And so, there is this lady who like tunes into the Facebook Lives because they host them in Monterrey, because we do get a lot of tourists from Monterrey that come and they want to like know about the events that are happening here. And so they go on Facebook Lives like every like Tuesday or like Wednesday, I think. And so they do get people that are interested in what's gonna happen. So when I was there, it was like during the summer, and they were promoting the water parks, like those swimming pools, so they could come. And then my next one. This is my favorite one, the Building and Planning Department on July 21st. It basically oversees Laredo's comprehensive planning, zoning, annexation, historic preservation, demographics, and floodplain management. And so Amanda Bruneda and Deidre Garcia, they were both planner twos. They demonstrated their job responsibilities to me, which included analyzing the zones where people request to build on, to basically determine if it fits with the zoning guidelines. So for example, I didn't know, but there are specific residential and commercial zones. So residential would be like apartments or like houses, but commercial would be like logistics buildings on Mines Road. And then for what I learned, basically back then the streets were built like in a grid pattern, and so it's like a square, but now they like kind of transformed into like the roundabouts and everything. And so that's how downtown Laredo was built. Every request to build on land must be approved by this department. So it has to go through them, and they have to approve it before you could even build on the land.
Anywhere in the city, right?
Anywhere in the city, yeah. And then I talked with this man. He's kind of like in charge of, like, kind of like upgrading Laredo as like the green space and like making it more urbanized. And so he said that there are plans to increase walkability and urban green spaces in Laredo. There's also GIS technology to discover districts, school zones, and addresses. The GIS technician, he would basically like input a school into like a computer, and you could see like what district it fell under, the addresses around it, and basically what school zone it was in. Okay, so my last one was Human Resources on July 22nd. I learned that there are many different divisions, like the employee relations, municipal, civil, oh my god, hold on. I'm talking too fast.
You're doing good.
Municipal civil service division, retirement division, HR payroll division, recruitment division, health and benefits division, and the risk management division that we were talking about. We interned under Zulema Ortiz. She's the human resources project manager, and so she basically leads a project aimed to improve HR department, like the equal payroll project that I was talking about too. Okay, so this is what I learned. There's a city clinic free to the City of Laredo employees in the case of medical assistance or mental health care. The two men who are always on call run the risk management division of HR to help City of Laredo employees, and HR is extremely important to the wellness and retention of the City of Laredo employees. And so my takeaways: every department works in a collaborative, efficient manner, and I learned that Laredo is progressively growing into a developed urban town, and that the Port of Laredo is the #1 inland port along the U.S.-Mexico border and the nation's 3rd busiest port. Which kind of like, because I feel like I want to study international business in college, and so this like really solidified my decision too.
Cool.
So yeah, sorry guys, I'm literally shaking.
Where did you learn about the Port Laredo information?
I actually learned that at the CBB.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Cool, yeah.
I'll go with you now.
Did
you send it to?
I didn't.
Could you have it done yet? You have it. I sent it to. Send it to the other store. Remember? We'll see what Google does. Are we able to send it to her?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we're gonna.
If y'all are hungry, we're able to get the food. If anybody wants it.
I already ate. I could have tomatoes and everything on camera.
Oh, yeah,
This is music.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to forward it to my personal, but is there anyone who wants to go in the meantime? No? Did anyone else submit? From what email did you send it?
Alexandra.
Sorry, I didn't.
My big brain not.
I'm just kidding. You can just go back and forth. After Alexandra, we had Triana. Do we have anyone else?
Well, me and Jay are gonna do it together.
Okay.
Does anybody want anything to drink? Water? Maybe I'll just Coke. Zero or Diet Coke?
Zero.
For this way.
Gina, I didn't send you personally. It's because I don't know.
It might have, but you know what? I'm having trouble logging in.
Oh, okay, because I also, because me and Jay are gonna do the health department, but I went to the building and planning, so I did like a separate one.
Okay.
But I don't have.
Check if I lock my truck.
Let me check my personal. Like, let me see if I can forward it.
Can I go check if I lock my truck?
Yes.
Is this the correct,
Garza 09. Sorry. No, Tiana, I didn't get it.
No.
Let me try.
Let me try it again.
We're ready when you are.
Okay, that's the 09.
So I interned at the Laredo Police Department with Lee, but she's not here today. So it was pretty interesting. I wish I was 18 because if you're 18, they let you go and drive in their police car, which is pretty cool.
So you couldn't?
No.
Aww.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sadly, the dogs aren't there. They're actually outside of there, but I thought there would be at least one, but there
The
wasn't.
canines.
There's, oh yeah, thank you. There's different offices. They have a meeting room, which was pretty big. The front desk was really nice. The 911 operators, they had a separate room for them. Very
small. Stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Props to them. But they're hiring, and it's a pretty fast process, and they pay really good.
It's very small. There's like few, like at least less than 20 people, and they're taking. They told me to take at least 300,000 calls.
Of
Really?
emergency calls?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Wow.
They also have like another room.
So
It was interesting. There's like different monitors with different, a lot of people, secret information. I'd like to say they're looking for people or they're making posts about people. It was interesting. Like I said, everybody was nice in there, but I was surprised when they took us to go see the cadets. They're like, it was a surprise, and they said, "Okay, now ask some questions." So they were all like seated, looking at us. I had no questions. I panicked really bad. I'm horrible at thinking of things on the spot, but it was really cool. We did, of course, ask a lot of questions. They were really nice though.
What made you want to go to police?
It's always been interesting to me. When I was younger, I was like, I want to be a police officer.
No?
No, it takes a lot of courage and strength. I don't think it's for me. But it's a really nice experience.
You can go back to the,
I also went to the city attorney's office with Danielle, but she's also not here. We spoke to 3 different lawyers. I'm horrible with names, so I didn't put their names down, but I should have. We helped research for a law. I believe it was something to do with trailers or something that they can't park in certain areas of Laredo. So we were looking at bills that have been written in Texas, but if we couldn't find them, we would look for them outside of Texas. So we could have kind of an outline of what to follow. We also want to see the municipal court, very intense in there. It takes a lot of strength being a judge there. But it was good. Okay, I do one sec for this one.
But it was a good experience. I really liked it. I was at Laredo Public Library. There's the first floor, which they had the teen zone. They have like comics in there and fictional books that most teens read in. They also have the children's library. They have a turtle in there. It was pretty cute. I didn't know they had a turtle in there. I know they had one, but I didn't know where it was. They also have books that read to the kids, so if they can't read it, they have it read to them. They also have toys there, so they can interact with one another. They also have another room where they have like a reading to them. They make them dance. They sing, they dance, and it tires them out. And then they sit down and they get read to. And then after that, they usually have an activity. Outside of that, there's an older turtle. I don't remember how, at least 8, I think. And she was too big for the tank, so they put her outside.
This is at the main library?
Yeah. They also have a meeting room on the second floor. It was very big. There's fiction, nonfiction, educational books. They also offer services to elderly, I like to say, like how to use tablets, so they don't. They also want to make like I don't remember if there was like a plant room or a certain color room, because studies have shown that it helps them calm down a bit. They also have a historical informational room, so they have yearbooks, the oldest yearbooks in there. A lot of cool information I learned about Laredo in there. And it's open to public, which I was really surprised about. They also have private study rooms. You have a library card, you can use it online, so you can rent out different books, which I didn't know about. I was with Danielle Burns, and I had no idea she worked with so much data and statistics. I knew there was some, but it was a lot more than what I thought. And the cool turtle I saw. I also went to go see the health department. Oh, and what did I do? Okay, so I got there, completely got lost, but I found my way to the front place area. They gave me a slideshow and they taught me what's in the department. So the first place I got was in the pharmacy. The pharmacist wasn't there, so I was with the pharmacy technician. She gave me a tour of the pharmacy. I got to see her interact with the different customers. And it was cool. I don't know if that's like the direct area, but I went to like a front office area. I was with a lady and a man, and they're just telling me about the building. It was interesting. And then they put me at the front desk, and I just saw them, how they speak to the customers, the clients. And I was gonna do the paperwork, but they never told me anything, so I was like, okay. Stationery. Oh yeah, I went to go to, I want to say a Burger King, and I got to see them inspect the restaurant. So the water, if they're wearing their
Internet?
yeah, thank you.
So you went on a health inspection?
Yes.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
It was cool.
Did you see something that?
Yeah, like one girl was wearing a hat, and she was doing the cashier, but she would also deal with the food, and she wouldn't wear a hairnet. So yeah.
A Burger King?
I think so. I'm not sure. I don't remember where it was. I think. I also went to the lab. It was.
Burger King was that?
Yeah.
The lab was cool. It was weird though. There's a lot of human stuff in there.
Who was it?
No, not
It was
let's not get too far. It was pretty nice in there. I had no idea they deal with water testing in there. Didn't know that. I did get lost a lot. I had a tour. They showed me where to go. That was no. I just think I should have paid more attention. But I did get lost at the very beginning. Like for the pharmacy, completely got lost at the beginning. I was like, where do I go? But everybody was nice. And they also took me to like the freezer room area. For some reason, it got like locked. So they were like
trying to take out the ice. That was an interesting experience. Yeah, it was a good experience. I enjoyed all of them.
Cool.
And that's it.
Thank you. Was that me or else? Diana, you.
Oh no, I did.
Okay, Diana. Is there anything that, or was there maybe any career choices that you all had that maybe coming to these showed you a little bit more about why you want to do it?
Oh
or not?
yeah.
Yeah. Like in what way?
Like I want to be a medical lawyer,
Uh-huh.
and well, I went to city attorneys, and like I don't know, I found it really interesting how in depth they go with things and everything, and I don't know, like it seemed really, really to me it was really, really interesting to hear people's cases, like what would happen and everything, and in your mind you could think of like, oh, like this is a good way to like you could think of ways to help the person and everything, like if they were to need a lawyer or something, you could see more like
Cool.
in how to help them, how like real life situations would work.
Cool. Jada, you sent it to, did I have?
The KRESA09@gmail.
Oh, okay. Diana, you want to go first then? I think yours is up already, and I'll send this one.
Are you gonna put it?
You can just, I think you, the first email that's from Karen Garza.
Oh, yeah.
You can just open it.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay, so I went to the building with Sunny, and these are some stuff, and then I'm gonna like go more into detail. So their permit reports, the neighbor empowerment zone, which also stands for like NEZ, and the city ordinances. So the permit records for the previous 10 years worth of issued building permits, this department has kept records. They use these permits for statistical trend and growth analysis, and they give monthly reports on most of them. So when I was there, they were saying how they go into like they keep records of like everything because like they have to. So it's a lot of like paperwork and stuff that they have to like go over. And then the neighbor empowerment zone for homeowner investment owners and developers proposing new like construction projects or rehabilitation projects that are located within the NEC area. The NEC program is the tool through which benefits including building permit fee waivers and local property tax breakers can be provided. So it's mostly for like places where they want to like construction areas and stuff like that. So that was that. And then the city ordinance, the code of ordinance changes as well as other ordinances are handled by the building department services department in order to better set rules and regulations for many aspects of building development and code enforcement. They regularly amend existing ordinance or draft new ones. And when I was there, what was your name? You also went to
Yeah.
building planning, right?
Oh,
No. Or who went to building planning? I forgot. It was you, right? To the gray sweater?
me?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
No, I didn't.
I was-
We all went to,
I was
who else
confused.
went to building and planning?
I was like, where?
Yes, you did.
No, yes, you did. With the same people that you talked
With
to.
Deidre.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
yes. I thought we went together. I thought you told me we went together.
Oh no, no,
Yeah,
a
yeah,
different
yeah.
day, but she went
Yes,
to the same place
yes.
as me, and I talked to them, and they also showed me more about the zoning and stuff like that, and I didn't really like know that, so I found that really interesting. And I was sitting with them, and they were going over like paperwork and like projecting it on like the TV, and they were going over different cases and stuff like that. Like there was a place where they weren't supposed to be there. Like, let's say there's like a house, and they like it entered a little bit more of the other house. And they have to like find them, and they have to go, and it's this whole process that they have to go through and take, you know. So they went over that, and then I talked to this other guy, and he was going over more of like the history of Laredo. So I thought that was really interesting, and I enjoyed that too. And so yeah, and then the summary overall during my time at the building and planning, I was able to learn about the procedures and regulations needed to build Laredo, as well as the importance of zoning in the city's history.
my visit there made me realize how important it is to support the development of our city in ways that benefit everyone. Sorry. Such as by providing resources and transportation.
Cool. Thank you. You wanna go open the other one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you go back to the email? There. Yeah.
Okay.
This was kind of.
I am.
Wait, try hard.
Okay, so me and Gina went to the City of Laredo Health Department, and it's really big, so there was a lot of stuff there. Like, if you want to go for one day, there's like so much.
Yeah, they were like rushing to try to like get us into all departments, and I know that like you missed out on the inspections department and all
Yeah.
that, but like it was cool.
And also, my last year here, I was here my junior, and I also went to the health department, so I kind of saw a little bit, so I incorporated some of that here too.
Cool. So you liked it the first time and went
Yeah.
back?
Yeah. Do you want to go first? Or?
Yeah, the Laredo Health Department offers annual family planning and preventative healthcare visits, recommended immunizations, screenings for HIV, cholesterol, diabetes, and high blood pressure, sexually transmitted infections, and treatment services. They also offer counseling, annual family planning, and preventative healthcare visits. So,
Oh, is that right?
yeah, a physician, physician assistant, and a practitioner card.
Okay, so these are the list. Oh, sorry. These are the list of the departments. They have pharmacy, the women's health and family planning, the laboratory, the Laredo education and testing services, environmental health, immunization program, and nurse-family partnership. And now we're gonna go into more details of what those offer. So this is, there's also requirements. The requirements to be eligible for the majority of these services and programs include being a Webb County resident, a Texas resident, a U.S. citizen, or a legal immigrant, and lacking insurance.
The pharmacy at the Laredo Health Department carries medications that help with programs such as maternal and child health, family planning, Texas Healthy Women, immunizations, and HIV, AIDS, and STDs. I don't know if you know this, but the health department does not take insurance, so you pay out of pocket, but it's at like a much lower price than you would anywhere else.
Yeah.
And that's what specifically the health department offers. Like that is the duty of the health department, to provide like lower costs to, you know.
Yeah, so people can afford the medications and stuff like that, because some
Yeah.
people can't afford medications and it's hard for them to have access to that. So this helps them get it at a lower price.
Did they talk to you guys about how a lot of that is funded?
No.
So a lot of the programs that the health department offers, I wish I had the exact number, but I don't quote me on this, but I think at least 70% of the health department is grant funded through, do y'all know what grant funding is, like federal or state
Yeah.
funds? So that's how they're able to bring these programs, so, which is kind of different than any other department that's
Yeah.
from.
Yeah. And that's why the Human Resources Department has like a specific person who's in charge of like that whole like area, because she needs to manage and see like the grants that are coming in, and so how long. I think employees, they also get paid through these grants.
Mhm.
So seeing like, can we hire somebody else? Like, how long is this grant going to be able to keep these people employed? So all of
Yeah.
that, HR handles that.
Okay, so the family planning program offers comprehensive family planning services to lower unwanted pregnancies, have a favorable impact on future pregnancies, and enhance the health of both men and women. The program covers a comprehensive range of women's health and core family planning services, some of which include annual family planning and preventive healthcare visits, as well as pregnancy tests and screening for cholesterol, diabetes, and high blood pressure. So a lot of people are part of the family planning program, and I think it's a really good program because it helps like the whole family, you know what I mean? So I think that's cool.
The Laboratory Services Division conducts tests to help with patient treatment and medical condition diagnosis. So when you go to the doctor and you, like they want to test you for anything, they have, depending on where you go to the doctor, obviously, they sometimes have like
where they can test for strep or anything like the flu. They can test for that usually at their house. But if you're doing blood tests or urine analysis, you're sent. You're given a lab request, and so you can go to the health department, or if you have insurance, you can go usually anywhere else. But if you wouldn't have insurance, you would go to the health department. As well as they provide water treatment levels in order to give utilities an okay to distribute. So they go through a process of testing the waters. So in utilities, the water goes through all this treatment, and it has to be checked if it reaches like a healthy amount of like Clorox and all the treatment materials. And so that's what they do at the lab. That's also a job of the people in the laboratory.
Yeah, they're really big on the water thing there. When I was there, they were showing me like also, and then they also have the computer there, and it shows like the rates, and they have like all the places that they have to check, and there's also like a due date for that time, so they're kind of always working on that and making sure that they check all of those places.
Yes. They play a vital role in the utilities department.
Yes. And the Laredo Education and Testing Services, the Laredo Teaching and Testing Services, the LETS program, offers services for outreach, prevention, screening, testing, and education on HIV, AIDS, and STDs. It offers people living with HIV and AIDS a wide range of comprehensive HIV care services. The LETS program has established high standards through a system that respects and supports people living with HIV and AIDS. Its goal is to promote and provide access to high quality treatment services. So I feel like a lot of people there, like, they really help those that have like AIDS and HIV, because I mean, it's a hard thing to go through, and they make sure that they have the right like proper care and the treatment to be able to like to be able to like live with that, you know what I mean? So it's a good program for people.
When I was in the pharmacy, she had mentioned that she had a few homeless people on the program, and so they found it like really difficult to get them to come in and like get their medication for all of that. And a part of that program is also like encouraging them to like treat themselves and like informing them and all that, providing them like resources and stuff.
And she also showed me the prices of the medicine for that, and it's really expensive.
And they
it's
provide it for free, like
yeah.
when they're
Wow.
It's usually around like $1,000 just for the treatment, so it's a lot of money. And I was surprised because I didn't know it was that much money. So. You didn't say anything?
oh my god.
Okay. Give me a try zooming in.
You can make it bigger in the corner.
Yeah.
The big screen.
This subdivision within the health department works with
Oh, yeah.
other elements and factors that can directly contribute to human health. It is in charge of confirming food establishments that are to be monitored to make sure they are up to par and requirements of the city of Laredo. They grant food licenses for restaurants or food establishments, and cite food vendors who are in violation of city food sanitation ordinances. This department also holds a huge focus in mosquito abatement, as these insects are a huge risk for directly transporting unwanted viruses and diseases. They can be called to investigate and respond to any health hazards, like properties that are untrimmed grass, trashed or overflowing in the streets of trash and discarded materials or water. For these situations, warnings are given that after citations are issued. The following must obtain a permit from the health department: food establishments, street vendors, mobile food trucks, tire shops, mobile tire services, public or semi-public pools, tattoo and body piercing shops, schools, commercial adult and child daycare facilities. So, yeah, while I was there, like all my time there, I spent getting the lowdown on the mosquito situation and how they receive so many calls about mosquitoes, but a lot of the time it's people that are breeding the mosquitoes because they leave water that is like unattended, and so like they're creating their own mosquitoes. And then they had like a situation where the client would not let them on their property to like look for the mosquitoes, but like just like he like automatically knew that he was breeding like mosquitoes back there, but still like complaining about it. And then they also are funded to go and fumigate, but it's very unhealthy for any kind of plants and stuff, so they try not to do that. But it's a very frustrating job because as much as they want to prevent like things like these mosquitoes and like diseases, the community is not aware of the process it takes to do that. Like
It's a really long process. And then the immunization program, the Texas Vaccine for Children program offers immunization services for children of 0 to 8 years of age. This program's goal is to target and assist in those uninsured or underinsured, for example, insurances that do not cover immunizations. To eligible clients, the following vaccines are offered. Those are the ones that are offered. And I actually was in a room with these two ladies, and they were offering COVID-19 shots for little kids. And so I saw like a mom taking like 2 of her little daughters, and they were there getting the COVID shots, and so that was good. And I think, I don't know if it was free or I don't know if it was
no,
like,
it was free along with any like when you of age shots.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was what they offered.
And I also saw another girl, people going, like people that are going to college, like before you go you have to get certain shots or vaccines. So those people were also going and getting the shots there with the immunization program. Is this
No, it gives more information.
Oh, yeah,
Those are just the fees, right?
yeah, these are some of the fees.
Yeah. For all qualified women, Nurse Family Partnership is free. For mothers having their first child, there's a program called Nurse Family Partnership. Once you enlist, a registered nurse will visit you at home or via online for the length of your pregnancy and for the next 2 years after the birth of your child. They offer help to newly mothers.
Yeah, and the last time when I was there, and they were giving me more like how they help mothers that are expecting, like first time moms. And since COVID happened, because they usually go to the house, but since COVID happened, they started doing like virtually. And so that's what they do there. And they also provide stuff if they need like nursing pillows or like other stuff like that. So that was also good, because I know a lot of people are scared when they're like expecting, and it's good that they provide that like security for them, so it's good. So that was our experience at the Laredo Hotel.
Another thing about the mosquitoes, since I got he focused on mosquitoes, is that anytime they get like mosquitoes reports like that there's like very many, they make sure to test or like try to examine the type of mosquitoes. I think you mentioned that there's like 26 types of mosquitoes, and so that like there's a certain like amount of mosquitoes that are very dangerous, so that if they find that those mosquitoes are the ones that are like invading, that's when they go and fumigate, because they can carry diseases that can kill a pregnant woman like automatically on like it's
It's real serious.
It is really serious.
Wow.
So like as soon as they
Yeah.
they just drop to
Because they can carry from they're the main way that we can get diseases, because they are like directly touched, like other like an animal's blood, anything else, and we transmit it directly into our veins.
Yeah.
So
especially the ones out of the country, like
yes,
some
especially those. You had mentioned that
those
they're
are-
like African mosquitoes, that
Yeah.
those are very dangerous, and
Yeah,
that was the
those-
situation in which they
those
were
are bad.
Yeah, that I got like 45 minutes of pure.
She's so passionate about the mosquitoes.
Mosquito learning class. Like,
No, I
He's a
don't.
goober.
But I could recognize him. Like I'd be like, hey, mosquito guy.
I thought it was Gilbert, but I'm not sure.
But yeah, that's it. The
Thank
health
you.
department.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. So those are all the presentations, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Just one comment. It's 7:55. I don't know how many of you all have parents waiting. We can also, left on the agenda, we have 2 more presentations and then discussion on your project. Do you all want to continue with the presentations today, or you want to table them to the next meeting? Because you all can also motion to table to the next one or something in case the majority of you have to go. Because I know not everyone here drives, so just FYI. You can continue. Or whoever. I mean, if someone wants to bring up about tabling or anything like that, you can.
Do we want to table to the next?
So, motion
Next
table
week.
to the next agenda.
Well, what do you want to table?
The remaining two,
The 2 items?
yeah, the remaining 2 items, the discussion with possible action on the presentation.
So you want to end the meeting here? That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, we just need a motion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, motion to table these next 2
Items.
items into the next agenda for the next meeting. Can I get a second?
No, someone else needs to do that. You can.
Okay, yeah, sure. Somebody else needs to say that, so. motion.
Okay. Can I get a second?
No, you.
No. Motion to table
Motion
the
to-
last 2.
Motion
second.
to table the next 2.
So only
On the agenda.
only one
On the
person
next
does a
meeting.
motion.
Uh-huh.
So if anybody has an
So
idea,
Jada was going with it. So to the next
Oh.
meeting.
Yes. Motion to table the next 2 on the agenda to the next meeting.
someone needs to second her.
Okay.
Motion to table the agenda to the next meeting.
Another motion.
So,
So you vote on
repeat?
that,
Alright.
and then-
So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No. All right. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you guys.
Cool.
Thank you.
Okay.